Order filled.
Good morning, everybody.
Who we got here today? Markets are quiet again. Stream is quiet again. But hopefully we get a few more people joining in very soon. Let's get that light on. There we go. It's a bit better. All right. Real Boss Man is here. Patrick Campbell is here. Nuno Ferreira is here. Ebermark is here. Jim Capsulis is here. If there is anybody else here, then please do say hello. And hit the like button, as always, on your way in. If you are watching on X, on Twitter, then do say hi over there. See if we got anybody. Ooh, where is it? Where is it? There we go. Got a few people over there. Didn't see a link on Discord somehow. It's there. I mean, the events thing goes, yeah, it's there. Welcome Heisenberg, welcome Jambi. Let's bring up the X chat just in case anybody decides to talk on that. And we'll get into the charts. Watching the NASDAQ quite closely at the moment this morning as well. I got a few alerts I'm waiting for. We've got some nice highs up here. A nice 5-minute gap. Or if we do come down, then we do have those Friday lows, previous week lows, and that we can be looking at. But so far, just a little bit of a gap fill here on the NQ from last week, where we had the partial fill, and we've just come back into that again. So I've got some alerts. I'm probably going to take a little trade if anything juicy does present itself. Also like to be aware of, I'm just going to place alerts on highs and within the gap over here, and then if any of these alerts go off during the stream, then we know there's the potential for a couple of trades here. There's one other thing I'm looking for, is there's a little 1 hour wick, 1 hour gap down here as well that I'm also watching. ES nearly missed previous day low. Yeah, I've not been watching the ES. I don't trade the ES. But yeah, ES also, I mean, that filled that gap on Monday. And we've just come down and taken out the Monday lows. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, cool. Let's get back over onto Bitcoin. Have a look at that. We'll also pop our heads into some altcoin trades in a bit. ES earnings today. I mean, there is earnings all of this week. So the earnings that we have, earnings whispers. There's a good account on X if you guys are interested in looking at what's going on with the earnings or trading around earnings season. Then there's a good account on X called Earnings Whispers. So I always look at the graphics on here, just to get a sense of what earnings are out there. We did have Tesla yesterday, Spotify yesterday, Google yesterday. Not very much today. Yeah, the big day really was yesterday, wasn't it? A lot of the big guys. So, yes. But yeah, I would recommend this eWhispers if you're looking for information on that. I like this one. Spotify smashed it. People still seem to support this garbage service. I like Spotify. Why is it garbage? I use Spotify every day. I guess the thing is, for creators, it's not very good. They do not pay very much. But it makes them a profitable business, right? So, yeah. Righty-ho. Alright, let's turn the music off. Let's just get straight into our updates for today. Unless there's any more chat that we want to do. Ragdogs, welcome. When am I off to Asia? In a month. Well, a little over a month. I'm moving out of this place at the end of August. And then I just have a week or two with things that I just still need to sort out around here. So I'm going to be like homeless in the UK for a couple of weeks. And then I will be heading off like second week of September. Need help packing. Well, I'm gonna get rid of everything. Gonna get rid of everything apart from like my computer, some clothes and stuff. I'm just selling a lot of stuff. Going all minimal. I mean, that's what you gotta do if you're traveling around, isn't it? You don't need much to live, to survive. I prefer to spend my money on like stuff to do. We'll go back over it again. We keep getting these questions. I've explained where I'm going and what I'm doing enough times. But when we have a little like downtime during the stream, ask the question again. I'm happy to talk about it because it's something that's interesting me at the moment, which is nice. Need inspiration sometimes. Right, music off. Bloop. And if I've got everything, I mean, there's still not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to Bitcoin, is there? It's a bit like, I would have thought CoinGlass would have the ETH. Oh, they do have ETH ETFs up. Nice. So I'll do an Ethereum overview in a bit as well. All right. Hello traders, welcome to today's video, Wednesday, the 24th of July, 2024. Bitcoin's still not doing a whole lot right now, just consolidating around this point of control, which is kind of what we would have been expecting anyway. Still thinking that there is a decent uptrend in play here. and there is a target to move up towards that value area high to break to new highs. Of course, we do have some catalysts this week. I'm getting my FOMO. It's the Bitcoin conference this week. There's going to be both presidential nominees are going to be talking at the conference. So I would imagine that creates a bit of a bullish catalyst or some kind of volatility as we go in later in the week, just for market moves as that conference is going on. Often it's actually been a bit of a dump during the Bitcoin conference because everyone that's there, all of the industry, like they like to create a bit of panic. But we'll see what happens on this occasion. Also, of course, we do have the Ethereum ETFs that are now live as well. So is that going to create some market movement? Is it going to be mainly centered around Ethereum and Ethereum ecosystem, or are we going to see a bit more movement from Bitcoin itself? I do personally think that the altcoins are the better trades at the moment. They are providing the better opportunities. However, if you're long Bitcoin, it's just stay in those long positions kind of situation. Scalp shorts on weakness or on like sweeps of highs and so on. But overall, I do kind of like the consolidation that we're seeing around this 66 to 67K area. And as long as we're holding around this zone, around about this POC, then I'm happy for what price is doing right now, and I'm expecting higher. Now, if there is to be a bit of a drop down, if we do see a bit of a dump, then 62K is on my radar. That we do have the range value area low down there. That is really the level that you would really want to see hold, because not only do we have some we do have confluence down there with the first gap really on the daily time frame. There is a gap, of course, a little bit below that and a little bit below that, but we do have this first little gap on the daily, confluence with the value area low. That previous week open as well down there. It would be roughly a 50% retrace from the low to the high that we've just seen. And also, if we just look back at this range, the confluence that we have here with, as soon as we started off within this range, offering support, you have that little sweep below, it turns back into support, you then consolidate around there again. You don't want to see this zone, this 62K, 61 to 62K area lost. Otherwise, it does start to get a little bit sketchy again, and we'd start to be looking at a scenario where those lows can come back into play, which is not something that you want to see. Okay, right now, we've seen previous occasions where we've had a decent markup in price, a decent trend, and we're seeing something similar here with a couple of waves up so far. Of course, this one did get that like fifth that didn't really take out the high. And on this occasion, you've got these couple of waves, but I do think that we can start to extend further beyond this, as long as we're holding within this zone here. So everything on the daily time frame and on these higher time frames looking pretty good. Having a week of consolidation after a big impulse up is not a bad thing. Relatively healthy, a bit of sideways movement, and then we would be looking for continuation. Now, as we go into the end of the month, next week, of course, as well, then I do believe that 67,470 monthly level will come into play if price is around there. So are we going to get a monthly close above that's an engulfing candle? Are we going to get that close below? I think the monthly levels, these higher time frame levels, are quite significant as we go into next week. Looking down here on the 4 hour, where again structurally there's not a whole lot going on here, right? We did have the gap on the 4 hour. Now this over here was not like entirely wickless, but we did actually just miss that the other day. So if we zoom in, this is on spot. Oh no, we didn't. We did take it out. So we took out the lows from this like almost wickless 4 hour candle where it was just pure buy side. Then again, of course, we had the Monday lows were taken out yesterday, and now we've taken out these weekend lows over yesterday afternoon, overnight, and getting a decent bounce from that so far. I kind of like where it's at. I think it's very similar to what we saw towards the end of last week, where we have a small correction around a bottom that takes out some lows, And then if we can just break with a bit of an impulse, then that can send price to new highs. So yeah, for me, just still holding those long positions, not really changing anything on Bitcoin, and a little bit more of a focus on alts here. Now, if we look at anything else, something else that I think is worth pointing out is the VWAPs. So of course we did have that daily open, a little bit of a move below daily open here, towards those previous day lows, reclaim that daily open, reclaim that VWAP, and now we're starting to push higher. It does seem as if this is all the right things to be having a trending up day. We seem to have passed that previous day VWAP close, and we're coming up towards where our previous day point of control is. I'll show you that on the TPO in just a moment. But when you do look at this from a VWAP perspective, having that swipe below, reclaiming, not taking the lows again, it does seem set up for a trending day in that direction, which would be quite nice. Weekly VWAP is another thing that I think is worth pointing out. That is just above us, and there is confluence there. So the weekly VWAP comes in at 67k, just under 67k. So of course that is the range POC. If there is to be a move up towards here, that goes back into that range POC. Also, if this does load, save me going on to the TPO right now, then we will see it's showing a little bit lower on here, that previous day point of control. But if we do go over onto XO, then just above us, we do have that previous day point of control and the previous day value area high. So if we're starting to get this acceptance back inside value area, then again, the levels that we can really be looking at are above us. We're almost there. We're almost at this POC, but we can see that daily open outside of the value area low from a TPO perspective on perps. And then we are getting this rise. We have got that confirmed acceptance back inside value area. It does give us a relatively high probability that we trade up towards those 67,200 zone to fill the value area of the previous day, which is what we very often see, right? So other than that, I mean, it's keeping it simple, looking for a little bit of upside. It has been a couple of days of like, will it go down? Won't it go down? What's the ETF going to do? All of that kind of thing. We saw the volume and the interest in the Ethereum ETF yesterday was pretty bullish. So I think any fears of an immediate dump have somewhat subsided. And yeah, yeah, just I think we can continue higher here. Poor highs on the day. It looks like they're about to get taken out. No poor days yesterday. Everything within this is fairly balanced. That's looking fairly good here. If we go on to this group, we do have some buying imbalances that are above that were at the top of 4-hour candles. So some things that we do need to be aware of is there is excess on the 4-hour time frame on each of these highs essentially. Okay, so we're coming into an area where there was aggression, seller aggression. All right, you get some trap shorts at the lows. We're coming back through that. It does look like it is clearing it. It is clearing it as we speak. It is clearing through these sellers that were here around about the 66,500, and then we would be looking to push on towards these 4-hour highs if we're looking at this chart. Anything else that we do need to say? I mean, I think yesterday was another day of it was a day of outflows. So a little bit of selling on the spot ETF. Maybe they wanted to buy some Ethereum instead. So they're diversifying their portfolios there over on the ETFs. But again, nothing significant. A lot of that coming from GBTC, which is what so often happens. Okay, but the ETF situation is relatively chill. And yeah, it's just kind of slow and steady every day. Now, just looking here on Agra at the CVD, of course, there was a little bit of spot selling that was happening yesterday, but it seemed to have been absorbed quite nicely. The move up that we're seeing so far today is pretty insignificant. so far. So you'd say this has to start to extend. If we're going to be looking for shorts, you'd want to see perps getting a bit greedy up towards the highs. There is a very slight divergence in delta between perps and spot here, with it mainly being perpetuals that are leading this move higher, but it's nothing too significant. Okay, I would be expecting you want to see a bigger divergence between the two in order to start targeting shorts. So yeah, if you're in the long position, I think let's just see how this goes, see if it can push up a little bit higher towards 67 again, and then consider new short positions there. I keep doing ums and ahs because every day I seem to talk about these updates. They are kind of similar. Anything else that we can be looking at here that I just maybe have forgotten about? We do have this downtrend. Okay, this is also into a 15-minute OB just here, right? That's just been tapped into. So that fills the gaps on this 15-minute. That also, you're through the single prints. You've closed above that 30-minute gap. We're doing something very similar to what we did on yesterday, just before New York session opened. But yeah, it's just one of those days where let's just see. I like the VWAP as support. So because we've done this typical drive after the open, so you have that Asia session range that plays out, London session opens and we start trending higher, you'd want to see this hold as support. The other thing that you can do if you're actively trading this particular session, look to where your session VWAPs are. Yeah, so not just the daily VWAPs, but also look towards your session VWAPs. It was a very, very range-bound Asia session, not a lot going on. Just showing that maybe a small accumulation going on there, ready for a bit of a markup in price. Now, if you do an anchored VWAP from the London open, then you can see here that acting quite nicely as support. You want to see that maintain and continue to push higher. If there is a loss of this VWAP, then it would naturally give you opportunities for a short position to take it back down into daily open, and even then to take out those Asia lows. Of course, the Asia lows didn't take out the previous day low. So if for now, as I'm doing this update, see if this trend can hold higher. We are looking for a move back up towards that 67k area before I would look for any bigger short positions. However, if weakness does happen, with it being at maybe a little bit of confluence around here, if there is weakness and VWAP is lost and starts to trend lower, then I do think that there could be a target for those previous day lows and those Asia lows. So yeah, on that note, I am going to wrap it up here. Just keep this as a short update, and we're going to move on to the altcoins and start to look at Ethereum as well next. So thank you very much for watching. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. Hopefully we do get some more interesting price action again soon. But whilst things are slow and steady, then I mean I can't lie and say things are exciting on the Bitcoin chart. They're not. But I do like to keep up with these updates anyway, just so you guys are aware of exactly what is going on. So yeah, cheers. See you again very soon. Have a great day. And yeah, bye-bye. Really is nothing happening, is there? Nothing happening. What's Nasdaq doing? NQ getting a bit of a move down. Did I have a short open from these highs? Jim, I did. I mean, I don't think many people are going to be watching these videos right now. I wonder if I could. Just thinking, maybe a little. Might try like a one contract long here on the NQ. Just because. You see it? I actually shorted up here just before I started the stream, but I closed it early. You know what? I'm gonna play with a single contract. I'm just gonna put a stop below that gap. Let's get an entry in here. That'll do nicely. There you go. See if this gets a little bit of a bounce. If it doesn't, then it's no harm done. There we go. Gonna get a bit of bounce. There we go. Let's put the music back on in the background. Oh my god, I hit the wrong hotkey on my thing. Where's it gone? Camera. I have little hotkeys and I have it on my streaming setup, and that was a little take profit. but I've got it on my streaming setup, which means camera off. It's like a camera toggle on off or a position toggle on off. Anyway, taking some profit on that. That was just a little scalp long. Nice reaction. I did a couple of contracts, so let's see if it pushes on a little bit higher. But I'm aware that I'm faffing about here. Just watching. Once I close out of this trade, we'll get on and we'll start to look at ETH. Profit after 10 points on NQ. Shruggy face. Clearly you haven't traded the NQ. Do you know how much each point is worth on the NQ? And when you're taking 2 full contracts, I don't trade the minis. I trade the big full fat NQ. This is scalp. This is absolutely fine. That's $400. That one candle. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. I would see if I could get more out of it. Yeah, I would see if I could get more out of it. But I'm streaming. What is the face? It's a face. It's a face. There we go. We're getting a few more points out of it now. If it can come here. So I just do a limit TP. $10 points seems very fear driven. You didn't take any 1 minute local highs or anything. Yeah, I mean, it's not, this isn't a trade that I'm expecting to bounce very much. Yeah. It's popped into a gap. I'm expecting a quick reaction, but ultimately I still think this goes lower. and hit some of my targets down here. Yeah? That's the kind of thing I'm saying. I'm not looking for a rotation. What I was looking for from that trade was, look, we've had a consolidation and then you got a little impulse higher. We've corrected that. So it could just be a dead cat bounce and lower, but you can still trade it. You can still trade it. So that is what I'm looking for. Okay? Don't start, right, questioning my trading. I trade how I trade. And I'm not going to change that because you're like, oh, no, you're a pussy. Wait for higher. I still have one contract open here, okay? And we're getting some more profit. All right, there we go. This is better. I took a quick take profit. I see the trade. I just think the TP is... The TP was because I'm aware I'm live streaming and I want to get on with a live stream. I don't want to watch this. Anyway, I'm closing it out. I don't want to look at that anymore. If it comes up here, then hey. But that was okay. That was a nice trade. I'm happy with that one. All right, where's Bitcoin at? Nothing going on. Shall we look at ETH? Shall we look at ETH? Yeah, let's look at ETH. I haven't prepped anything for ETH, but I have been buying, and I did take a long yesterday, which doesn't look like it's done very much. It had a nice bounce, but doesn't look like it's really done anything more than just bounce and go back to where it is. Looking at this, I have not looked at ETH today. Still chopping around that monthly open. Jim, at the end of the day, you won the trade and that's what counts. Exactly. Exactly. Process better than outcome always. Also, very, very, very true. But I didn't really have a process for that trade. Okay? That's the thing. There was not really a setup there. Yeah. Yeah, you're still probably expecting lower. But I was just like, you know what? I'm going to try it. And that's not a process. So the fact that I got the outcome I wanted, I was kind of fully expecting to lose that. I just saw a little bit of an opportunity. I was like, yeah, sometimes I just do that. You just tickle the trade sometimes. And if they can stack up and you can get the odd little one of those, yeah, and you can get a bit of momentum and you can just tickle it, then that's okay. But there was no process with that. It was just, I think this will have a little bit of a reaction, I think, but there's no actual strategy involved. Are these tickle trades statistically plus EV for you? They are if I just get in and out quickly, yes. If I try and milk them, I just get stopped. It's like Bitcoin, all right? If you tap a VWAP on Bitcoin, you can just bet on a little reaction, okay? And then you start to think about what happens next. Reactions from gaps are just really, really, really like kind of clear and obvious. Like, you get this kind of thing. I can show examples of it. It's enough to give you confidence of something. There's not really a trend down here. For example, here where you've got consolidation, you sweep, you go above. When you come back down into those lower areas, all right, at the very least, you can expect some kind of reaction, even if you do get continuation. My stats on those boredom ones are horrible. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, maybe like you were saying, just get in and out quickly. You get a single little reaction from it. This is nice though. There's actually a trade to talk about and to discuss, because everyone has their different methods. For myself, I'm more than happy just to trade something like that. I am still expecting lower. Look, if I'd held this waiting for a TP, if I put a limit TP in, it's almost inevitable that I'm going to take a loss on that. But if you can get a 10-point win that's like $200, just take it. Just take it. It's essentially a one-to-one. Yeah, you can do when you're doing these little trades where you're just having little ones, right? Then if you can get like a one-to-one out of it, I'm happy with that. So I would have ended up closing if you'd have closed beyond that gap. And when you actually look at it, your one-to-one is there. Yeah. And they can stack up. I'm happy with little one-to-one trades, little one-to-one scalps. I showed an example of it on yesterday's stream when I was trading an account as well. And you can see it's just like tons of small trades, but they were all winners. All winners. So I don't lose on these trades. Very, very, very rarely. So I showed that account. It's a 94% win rate. Okay, granted it's only over the course of a couple of days, but that's the thing. They can just stack up. And there we go. If I'd waited for a take profit, I'd be kind of getting wrecked at the moment. Alrighty. Let's draw a few lines on this, shall we? A midpoint would be helpful. Alright. Yeah, I am gonna do a an ETH update video. Let me post this one. The Bitcoin one, before I forget. Let's just get this one uploaded. Upload video. And then we'll move on to Ethereum. What am I looking for? Videos. Still 14 minutes long somehow. Reuse details. Yesterday's update. Reuse. I don't know what to even title the Bitcoin update as, because it's like, what do you title it as when nothing's happened? Title, Bitcoin hasn't moved. Here's an update for you. Anyway, who's gonna watch that? I don't know. I don't even know. It's become a stable coin. Everything's a stable coin. Show me your clickbait skills. I have no clickbait skills. I do not know what to title this Bitcoin video. Or even put a thumbnail on it, because literally nothing has happened. What's the Bitcoin title? Here's the most important level in the world for Bitcoin. Bitcoin must break this level. Yeah. BTC must hold this level. There we go. I don't know. BTC's next move will surprise you. Oh, God. The Bitcoin update you will need. Now, imagine that. If I say, like, here's the most important Bitcoin video you'll ever see in your entire life, and then it's just a load of waffle with me saying nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. People are never going to watch again, are they? You got to be a little bit honest. Otherwise, you get people watching it thinking, oh, hype, this is something new. Nah, nothing. Nothing. Anyway, we've gone a bit clickbaity with it. I've just gone, Bitcoin market update, slow and steady, but BTC must hold this level. Publish. Publish. Historic sell signal just flashed, yes. Did it really? I mean, I'm going to do an ETH update as well, so I'll do the ETH thing on the ETH thing. I've got a DM from some guy right here that's like, hi, I'm still waiting for your response, Luke. But he's never sent me a message before, look. A response to what? A response to what? You never messaged me before. Yeah, you want a response. Anyway, I'm ignoring it because it's another exchange thing. Groovy, okay. Published on YouTube. Published on X. And we can continue on. Is there anything interesting here on ETH that maybe I haven't spoken about before? I mean, it's just a forever range. Very nice looking quarterly candle. Interesting place to start. The fuck? Yeah. Cool. Done all this before, I just deleted a lot of it. Yeah, 2022 high. This will do. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do another little video here. I'm just gonna do a Ethereum. Cool. I want to make this one a bit more interesting. I'm going to see how it goes. See how it goes with the little video. Because I'm going to do my analysis now anyway, so I may as well record it. If it needs to be a bit more something that is written and prepped, then so be it. Hello traders, welcome to another video. In this video we are going to be going over the Ethereum price action, which has been very stable for the past week or so, but with news finally dropping yesterday that the ETFs have gone live, yesterday being the first day of the new Ethereum ETFs, I do believe that it's finally time to start looking at this asset again. So I'm going to start off here with just some simple technicals and then a bit of my bias for where I think this can end up, I guess, over the course of the next few months as we go into the next phase of this bull run. So Ethereum's been kind of forgotten lately. Against Bitcoin, it's been underperforming consistently. Every time the Bitcoin's been getting a move up, the ETH BTC pair has been dropping. Every time the Bitcoin seems to get a correction, the ETH BTC pair starts to rise, and it just creates this price action, which is just incredibly sideways. It's been literally the same price since the 15th of July for almost a couple of weeks now. Yes, of course, it did have a nice bounce after taking out the range lows, the same as what Bitcoin did, but it's been very stable and not a lot has been going on here. Now, I have started to scale into both spot and leveraged Ethereum positions from the monthly open. And I think this is a really important level to be aware of and to be looking at because it's just been consistently holding as support for quite a while now. And with these new ETH ETFs having launched, I do think that this could act as a really nice base for a move higher. So I'm going to start off here and we're just going to zoom out a little bit. So what Ethereum's done so far this year basically was a move up to take out those 2022 highs, and then we've just been holding below that yearly level. Okay, so that January the 1st, 2022, it's just the previous two quarterly candles. The move up to the 2022 high, you close below, you try it again, you close below. And then what we've seen subsequent to that is a sweep of the previous quarter lows. Okay, now all of this has happened within the first month of the quarter. In fact, the first few days of the quarter. Okay, July being the start of this new quarterly candle, and already we're seeing we've had that big move down that was since the open, a move down of almost 20% to take out those previous quarter lows, to come into a big gap that we have on the monthly and the weekly timeframes. And then we're starting to see what has the potential as a really strong reversal candle if it can hold here. Now, obviously, there's quite a lot more time. There's 2 months and 7 days, of course, left within this candle. But if we are going to see a strong monthly close with the ETH ETF hype, we've seen with Bitcoin, okay, when the ETFs launched, it had this little bit of a correction, but then moved 50% higher from that point. So if we're going to look at some similar kind of performance from Ethereum, that does take it on to new highs. Yeah, that takes us up to the $5,000 area, which is a 50% move from where the ETFs launched. So I am feeling very bullish overall on Ethereum, and it's been relatively easy to start to get positioned into these trades. Now, the problem that we have, and I think the problem that we have that a lot of traders are facing, is because it's just been stuck in the middle of this range. Okay, no matter how you draw this range, we're right at the midpoint. All right, whether you're taking this high, the first time we swept those highs from over here, and you're coming down to your range lows, we're right in the middle. And of course, again, if you're going to take this latter part of the range, we're just holding that midpoint of the range. Then, once again, if you put a fixed range volume profile on it, we're right at that POC. So a very, very similar situation to with Bitcoin is it's just in the middle of the range, at the point of control, and it's just completely within balance, very, very stable. You put an anchored VWAP on from when it dropped into this range here. And once again, you can see that it's just very, very stable here. Now, I do consider this because I have a bias that we're going to be moving higher, I'm happy to bid in this area. And if we do start to lose this 3,400 zone, okay, where you've got the midpoint of this range, where you're holding within this previous consolidation, I see this as a capitulation, you've recovered it. What we're seeing with a lot of stuff lately is the kind of pattern that looks a little bit like this, and we're already seeing some assets starting to mark up from that price. And Ethereum's a similar kind of situation, right? Where you have the big sweep, you then recover it, and you would be looking for that move higher afterwards. So for myself, I have been bidding around about that monthly open. Okay, so you can see on Monday, you tested the monthly open, held, tested the monthly open, held. You've just been consistently testing that monthly open and holding. And really, unless this is going to drop quite significantly, you're looking at a move down to around about 3,300, 3,200 as the next levels of support here. Then as long as this is holding, then I do remain kind of quite bullish and looking for higher. So I've been buying some spot, and I've also been starting to add a bit of a leverage position, small margin. But the thing is, when you're looking at a move higher, you can be adding margin 2-3x small margin on this without too much. I just don't see there being too much risk of major downside unless Bitcoin starts to massively pull back as well. And unless the ETH BTC pair starts to really crash, which is also at very, very strong support here. So when you look at the chart, okay, it's a difficult one to trade. It is chopping a lot of people up because there's a lot of impatience building here, but it's holding value. It's holding that POC. It's holding around about the midpoint of the range after having had a quite strong recovery. And that does lead me to believe that we are going to be seeing higher prices. Now, if we start to look at targets for this, okay, obviously you'll be looking at a new all-time high. Okay, I think it is inevitable. If we do start to move up from here, you're going to be making a new all-time high. I think it's as simple as that. I don't see anything really. Okay, there's 4,200. You get the 420 meme kind of thing playing out once again. That could be a little bit of a pit stop. But unless we see something significant and Bitcoin pushes up, then I would be looking for new all-time highs up towards that $5,000 level. When you zoom out a little bit more, you can start to place some targets for higher also. It's one of those things. It's popular to be an ETH bear right now, but I don't see it being profitable to be an ETH bear. Okay, we have targets higher. I am expecting it to be going higher. So if we're looking at a one-to-one from our previous cycle lows down here in March 2020 to the all-time highs and back down to those FTX lows, right? Then we come up with a nice little target here of around about 5,650. Something else that we can do to find some levels in which to trade, go for a macro fib pool. Of course, we did come up to that 786, rejected around there, but the fact that we're holding within here and not seeing a big rejection lower, I would say once again is bullish. And you start to build a bit of confluence here as well. We've got that 1.272 that comes in at 5,900. But then the big targets, this is what you really, really look for, is up towards that 1.618 and up towards the 1 over here. What we've seen previously from Ethereum is it's extended far beyond that, but you did have a rejection from the 1.618 early on. When you go back from here to here, okay, you can see price came up into these areas where we're likely to find some temporary resistance. It did pull back somewhat, got a bit of a correction, and then pushed way beyond that and started to extend way beyond that. The other thing that you can start to look at for these targets is the logarithmic. Put it onto log scale. Okay. And you can look at essentially what's happened previously, which is not a whole lot. You're somewhere between that 1.272 and the 1.618. If you ended up around the 1.15 maybe, or the 1.5, it topped out kind of in a bit of a random place in terms of fibs. But yeah, this gives you some other targets, but they start to extend really, really far beyond where price is right now. So looking at these macro bull targets for Ethereum, probably a little bit unlikely, but something that we can be aware of. Anyway, I'm not going to do too much more on this. Let's go over onto the ETH BTC pair. Another reason why I'm feeling fairly bullish on Ethereum right now is we've been in this range, okay, for a very, very long time. All right, Ethereum made new all-time highs in the last cycle, but in comparison to Bitcoin, it did almost nothing. And it's just been in this long sideways accumulation for more than a cycle now. You had a little bit of a move up towards the end of the previous bull run, but it did nothing in comparison to what it had done previously. Now, I'm not saying we're going to see that hype again. Okay, Ethereum in 2016, 2017 was very new. It did what I would say Solana is doing now, where maybe Solana's done this first run and towards the end of the next bull run, Solana gets a new high, potentially against BTC. But I do believe that we're a very strong support here for seeing a leg higher that can take it to around about that 0.1 Bitcoin mark. So for every Bitcoin, it's 10 Ethereum. And I am looking at that as an overall plan here. And for myself, I am buying and bidding Ethereum every time it comes down into this support area around about that 0.5 to 0.52, looking for it essentially to be a 100% move from that 0.5 to 0.05, sorry, to 0.1. That's the kind of trade against Bitcoin that I am looking at. So I am looking for Ethereum to basically outperform Bitcoin by 100%, right? A 2x over Bitcoin over the course of the next cycle. Now, locally, it's been also quite nice to trade because you can take these short positions as well, all right? Because it keeps on having these impulses up. You put in these little top formations with a trend line, and then you drop straight back down into these same support areas. And you've just been having this impulse, consolidate, a bit of a distribution. You drop back down, you bounce again, you drop back down, you bounce again, you drop back down. So if I'm a whale here, and if I'm looking at getting big positions, I wouldn't say it's manipulation, it's just standard price action, but you're getting really clear opportunities of when to rotate into ETH, rotate out of ETH, and just start to build this position slowly, ready for what I do believe is going to be a flood of capital that comes into this asset very soon. So we've seen the latest time that it's come back down into this support area, taking out some lows, it's seen a strong bounce. We're getting a bit of a corrective move, similar to what we've had previously after these strong bounces. But then once again, we would be looking for a bit of continuation. Maybe it drops back down to that level again. Okay, so as long as we're holding around here, I am very happy to continue to buy and to just to buy Ethereum and to start to scale into that long position. So from a USD perspective, like I would just repeat again, looking at this monthly open as support, as we come into the end of the month, that starts to get very interesting. From an ETH BTC perspective, looking at buying every time Ethereum comes down towards this 0.05 area. Now that doesn't mean that we're going to bounce straight away from here. That 0.05 is right at the bottom of this box. It would be really nice if it can, like, let's say Bitcoin gets a bit of a move up and the ETH pair drops down, if it can continue to do this for a little bit longer. But we have a higher time frame perspective on this because simply you have to. You can't trade this on the lower time frames. There's absolutely nothing going on. But on the higher time frames, I think there's a lot of data that we can look at. I'll just quickly touch upon this. With the ETH ETFs yesterday, it was overall a day of very big inflows. Okay, over $1 billion traded on Ethereum yesterday with the new spot ETF. Now, it was only ETH that saw outflows, and of course, that being similar to GBTC, we're going to see that for quite some time. But all of these other ETFs seeing a lot of interest here. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that develops and whether the inflows can continue to outpace what we're likely to see from the outflows of ETH, at least momentarily, very similar to what we saw in Bitcoin with that there. From a fundamental perspective, I think I'm quite bullish on Ethereum as well. We've got, of course, got all the layer 2s and everything there on ETH. Now, remember, crypto's all just code. Like, the whole thing, a lot of times when an argument is made for Solana over Ethereum, it's things like the fees, it's things like the speed of transactions. All of those things can be solved very quickly with code on Ethereum. It's just they're not for a reason, and I believe that helps to lock value into the chain itself. So with Solana, okay, what we've seen from Ethereum on its first cycle is when it was a very, very new asset, it had an incredibly fast move up, and then it crashed by a lot, right? And of course, we saw that a similar situation in the last bear market, but it wasn't anywhere near as much as the move down that ETH had after its first full cycle, when it came all the way back down to that wave 1 support, which would have essentially been Ethereum seeing another 50% drop from the last cycle highs. You start to stabilize and it starts to get more value locked into the chain for more of a gradual move up, like we're seeing with Bitcoin. Okay, smaller percentage gains on each cycle that it has, but also slightly smaller corrections as well. And yeah, from a fundamental perspective, I think that's just the chain maturing. And a lot of the problems that I have with the likes of Solana is because fees are so cheap, because transactions can take place so quickly, it's likely going to have issues when bear market hits, whether we've seen a top from Solana already, but when bear market hits, it's going to get hit almost the worst because there's no incentive to keep that value locked in yet on the Solana ecosystem. So a lot of these arguments of why people would choose Solana over Ethereum are fine in a bull market, okay? And it does mean that it's likely to outperform in a bull market, but it also means it's going to get crushed a lot harder in the bear market when that does eventually happen. So you look for an asset that just has a bit more resilience about it and so on. That's just going into a bit more of an opinion there. But overall, I think fundamentals, technicals, ETFs now being alive do present a pretty good catalyst for a decent markup on Ethereum. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be something that happens steady, and then you get a big break towards the end of this cycle. But I do believe that general overperformance against Bitcoin as we go through the latter stages of this cycle, we'll be lucky if we still have another 12 months of bull market left. Maybe it's only about 6 months left of it. So we're looking for this latter stage to be slight outperformance from Ethereum. against Bitcoin. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. And that is everything that I have to say in this video. So thank you very much for watching. Please do give this video a like if you have enjoyed it. And I will be doing more Ethereum content and other analysis on other altcoins and all of that kind of thing in subsequent videos. And of course, do remember, I do go live every day, every morning, every weekday morning on YouTube. So make sure you hit subscribe, hit that bell, hit the like, do all of those things. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye. Yeah, that was all right. I could do a more clickbaity video title for this video for sure, because I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum. And I don't do the ETH videos often unless there's something that's really worth mentioning. Yeah, I think I said everything I want to say here. Bitcoin's getting another move up now. Very nice. What's the Nasdaq doing? I should have held that trade. God damn it. Double bottom. It wouldn't have stopped me out. Where's Blue Raincoat? You say, mate, you should have held. You should have held. You should have stayed patient. Joke's on me. I should have held. Come on, little Bitcoin. Right. You know what time it is, because I've got through about 6 liters of water again this morning. Plus a coffee. So, it's that time. I'll be back in about 1 minute. And I'm back. I'm empty. I'm empty again. Okay. Eh? Oh yeah, that is weekly open. Water goes through you much quicker when you're standing as well, doesn't it? Gravity. I just drink like crazy. Water. I'm going to say it's healthy. Thought that would be the case. So yeah, we're just coming up into this range POC on Bitcoin now. Local POC. I'm going to go seated. I'm going to sit down for a bit, and we're just going to look at some altcoins, more cash. Microphone. And Anchor VWAP from the downtrend, is it? Let's move this down a little bit more. Or move my chair up a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Move my chair up so the camera's not way above my head. Yeah. Breaking my desk. Better. I'm going to miss this, you know, when I go away. I'm going to miss the fact that I have a sit-stand desk in my office. It makes such a big difference. I'm going to miss my little treadmill, but then I will be walking more in general because I'll be on a nice beach and things. And I'll be able to like live stream from the beach. Yeah. Blue Raincoat's back telling me I should have waited. I should have waited. I should have been patient. My trade was not invalidated, so therefore I didn't need to close it, did I? I didn't need to close it. Kind of tempted to short this now, though. A little bit. I mean, if I get a short, then it's a bit more of a bigger trade. Yeah, stop loss at break even I'm not a fan of because I would have been stopped. Yeah? I would have been stopped if I had stop loss at break even. I've never been a fan of stop loss at break even. I believe if you've got a trade, you should know your invalidation and you should know your targets. I didn't really know my targets. I just knew my invalidation in this case. I missed it. Did I? I'm just going to let this one go. I've had a little win for today on the NQ. I'm not going to overtrade this. I'd be tempted to short this, but there's the opportunity is gone for it. I should have just done it when I said it. I would have been tempted to short it the first time. Shit. Right, okay. Bitcoin, that's probably previous day POC just been hit, right? TPO. Yeah, there we go. So we've got previous day point of control, and we've got a local range point of control that we have just hit. Do I short Bitcoin here? Bitcoin and NQ both looking like they could have just played out most of the move up that we want to see from this bounce. Because you're going to have to get some volume to break through this. April's away on my treadmill watching Luke scanning for a trade. Very nice. Have you taken any trades this morning? Has anyone taken any trades this morning? Has anyone taken any trades? recently. Anyone got any charts that they want to look at? Can you please explain the tokenization of a token? For example, once the airdrop is executed, how we can understand if the price is good or not? I mean, I have touched upon this previously. There are certain things that you've got to look at. All right, so when you're looking at a token, a new token, you want to have a few things. You first want to look at the FDV, which is the fully diluted valuation. Okay, so generally speaking, I know it sounds high, but we are in a industry now where I'd say 1 to 2 billion is fine. If you're getting above, like, that's good. 10 billion, bad, right? Basically, it's a sliding scale from there. Oh my god, I'm doing this, right? So fully diluted valuation. With a lot of the new things, we're seeing they're launching at around about that 1 to 2 billion fully diluted valuation. Now, it's just generally speaking, of course, depending on where you are within the market, that's going to change quite a lot. Then you want to have a look at the market cap, all right? And then circulating supply. Is there like a so you can go over here and we can look at, let's say, something that, okay, let's just go for 0. Again, I know I bang on about this a lot, but it's quite a nice example of what we've seen recently. Okay, oh, Bitcoin pumping. There's our little local POC. Right. Okay, let's go back. Where have I been drawing this? There we go. So we can look at something like 0, layer 0. Okay, fully diluted valuation now is 5 billion, but obviously it's moved up a lot in price. Okay, so when this launched, it was within that 1 to 2 billion dollars. Now the circulating supply isn't that important early on. All right, what you need to then be aware of is how that supply is going to be distributed. And then I use a site called CryptoRank. That was a cute little fluffy little animal in the background. I looked at how the supply is going to be whatever I was going to say, yeah? Vesting. So you look at who has the supply, when it's going to be unlocked, how much supply is going to come into the market, and when. So there's been a lot of FUD around an asset circulating supply, basically when people just say, it's only got 10% circulating supply, therefore it's bearish. And it's just, people just say a blanket thing like low circulating supply, bearish. It's not the case. Because you've got to understand how cycles work. There's going to be things that will launch with a low circulating supply in a bull market because they want to keep that circulating supply low in order to get markup for their token. But it does mean that when bear market hits, things become worse, market gets flooded with supply, and then you have bad sentiment and all this kind of thing as well. But a low circulating supply can really increase the exponential curve of the move up. Can really increase the exponential curve of the move up, but it also means things drop down a lot more. And then once you've got, so this is with like 10% circulating supply, you see much more of this kind of characteristic. Once supply is out there, okay, generally speaking, by the time you've gone through a big bear market like this, once all the supply is there, you get a bit more of a slow move up, and then you go into a correction that maybe is a bit more like drawn out, and you do this kind of thing, okay, and you start to go onto this, and once there's more supply, it's obviously heavier to move, and so on. But right, where else am I going? So those are important things that you've got to be aware of. Fully diluted valuation is important, but not immediately. Market cap is mostly important for the cycle that you're in. Circulating supply is important as well. And then I think it's just generally valuing it, like look at the network effect of something. So you go into something like layer 0, I think fundamentally is very strong, but it's outside of the top 100 market cap. Okay, tells me that the fact that it's got a market cap of under $1 billion right now, and it's outside of the top 100 on CoinGecko, on CoinMarketCap, is relatively bullish, because if you're looking at interoperability and you're looking at the fundamentals of this token, it has very, very good fundamentals, very strong fundamentals. Okay, if you're doing a bridge cross-chain, chances are you're going to be using layer 0 as that protocol to enable that to happen. So with interoperability, it's really important. And you have other assets as well. So you got to look at the fundamentals. You got to look at the supply, when the supply is coming out. With something like this, you can feel fairly safe in holding it when you're not seeing unlocks and when you're not seeing supply. All right, this untracked ZRO is just like, that's just going to be a gradual like dripping tap over supply that's coming in, but it's these unlocks, okay, strategic partners, core contributors, community was unlocked straight away, that's airdrops. And you get tokens repurchased, which actually is going to help out somewhat as well. But you get these unlocks, and you just want to know, like, realistically, when a good time to get out of these tokens is. And that's going to be around about next year, next summer, something like this. And we're seeing a lot of stuff, okay? 10 months and 26 days. You don't want to be holding this kind of thing once you get to that point. But it means that you've got basically free air in order to move price higher. Now, I don't know if there's any other examples that other people have been looking at. I obviously have things that that I watch quite often. ZK Sync, once again. Okay, 10 months and 23 days before the unlocks. All right, that's why I'm fairly bullish on ZK Sync. Ones that I'm maybe less bullish on. Wormhole. Okay, look, consistent supply. Okay, ecosystem is smaller. This being a competitor to ZRO. If you like interoperability, that's a competitor to ZRO, but it's not something I would choose to hold over it. Because if you look at Wormhole, and I think if you look at the market cap, all right, is actually higher than ZRO, but it's not used as much. Has barely any of the network volume or anything that ZRO has. Higher fully diluted valuation, higher market cap, and therefore I believe that that's overvalued in comparison. Anything else we can look at? I mean, we can look at like the likes of Solana as well, and see that. I mean, that's done all of its thing. But this gives an example of, okay, when you had Solana in its first cycle. So let's go Sol USDT. And let's look at the first cycle it had. And we can see, actually, all of the supply, that's not a good example. All of the supply for Solana came out basically before the last bull run, and then it's just been what it is. Filecoin might be quite a nice I can't think of an example of the previous cycle. Yeah, but oh well. I don't know. Yeah, you get the gist of it. Those are the kind of things that I look at. I maybe will think of a better way to explain it later. What's a good example of a token that like did really well? Interested to see. I mean, this never got the chance to, but but you look at Luna, for example. This never had the chance to do it. But with this, it would have had unlocks coming in 2023, summer 2023. But obviously it died a lot earlier than that, so... Oh, no, this is the new Luna. Oh, man, I don't know. I can't think of an example of a previous cycle token. AVAX? I can't think of anything. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Dot. Dot doesn't have any vesting data. Atom. Atom was around in 2017, so it wasn't just purely a previous cycle one. Pepe again, it's a meme coin, so it launched with 100% supply. Matic was around 2017, and it wasn't a VC. I'm looking at because everything these days is VC. Like VCs are really big. Whereas that wasn't really the case. I'm thinking of like when they were ICOs and stuff. I don't know. Oh my god. How many alerts? I had a bunch of alerts just going off on my phone. Did anyone just go short on it on BTC here? It would have been a really... Oh! Tesla wrecked, really? Hey, Ebermark, nice BTC short in place. You got it. Good stuff. See if it goes anything beyond this. I mean, I would still expect a bit of a bounce for here. If you're if you just took a scalp short, probably would want to at least grab a TP1 from that. It's a decent move though, a decent little scalp. Seeing a similar thing happening on the NQ there. Nice, nice. What is going on with Tesla then? Tesla. Oh, very tempted to add a bit more. How do you... How do you get rid of this stupid... Hey, there we go. Get rid of that nonsense. Goodbye. There we go. Kind of tempted to add to my Tesla position here. Did Tesla have earnings? That was last night, wasn't it? So the fact that we're seeing a drop to take lows, 4-hour gap after earnings was really good. How were the earnings? I mean, revenue is good, earnings is not so good. Still very much profitable. I'm so bullish on Tesla. So bullish on Tesla. I think this is a great chance to buy some more. I mean, you clearly broken out. I mean, I was buying at 180, 100 to 160. But I mean, you've just had a 15% correction in the last couple of weeks. I'm convinced this time next year, Tesla's going to be trading at $1,000. Absolutely convinced by it. You can quote me on that. By this time next year, Tesla will be or will have been trading at $1,000. Such a no-brainer. It's like Ethereum. Tesla is just the biggest no-brainer in the entire, like, if you want just the safest bets in the world right now, Ethereum and Tesla. Throw everything you have into Ethereum and Tesla. Just honestly, I think they're the safest bets in the entire world. I don't think of anything that's just like more obvious. Like it's like Nvidia was when Nvidia was down here. It's like it was the safest bet in the whole world. Yeah, you got in on Nvidia before the 10-to-1 stock split, $110, boof, mental. Afterwards, and it was just so obvious. It's Nvidia, for God's sake. Tesla feels the same. Ethereum feels the same. So very bullish on those things. When's Nvidia earnings? Next week. 29th. 29th? 28th. Nvidia. Could be interesting. Google wrecked as well, is it? Yeah, Google earnings for yesterday. I mean, if things are dumping on earnings, that's bullish. All right, you got to understand it's a good thing. Spotify up mad things. Gap fill from back in 2021. Spotify. Hey, if you don't like Spotify, this could be a good short. if you're a spotty bear. How are their earnings? Yeah, see? Revenue actually down a little bit. Low risk short. Spotify here. Low risk long Tesla, Google. This thing, I love it when people say like Tesla wrecked, Google wrecked. That's like, for me, that's like, yes. Buying opportunities. And when something pumps like this, selling opportunity. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Right. Can you look at banana coins? Yeah, what's happened with banana? Because banana gun's been around for ages. Yeah, it's like just relaunched itself, right? I don't get it. Banana gun's been around since last year. So why is there suddenly like new banana token? I do not understand. Why? What's happened? Like, it's literally been around since forever, yet they've done a render, haven't they? Can anyone tell me why Banana Gun just like decided to delete all the history and then relaunch itself? I fucking hate it when things do that. Like, look at this stupid. No, it's not. It's not a Binance listing. No, it's been on Binance since October last year. They just removed it and put on a new banana token. It's so stupid. It's not a new token. It's been around since forever. Yeah, and everything's like Bybit, we're like, oh, we've listed it. Binance like, oh, we've listed it. Woo was like, oh, we've listed it. You've had the fucking token on there since last year. You just deleted it and put it back on there again. Oh my god. Go away. Remind me later. A big Windows pop-up just came up. It's stupid. Ignore it. It's not new. This isn't new. This has been around since forever. And it's up. I mean, I was buying this when it was like $5. Banana. Let me find it. Banana. At Luke. Silly. Anyway. Yeah, we were talking about this last year. November last year, long on banana. $5. And now it's relaunching itself at 10 times that valuation. Dumb token. Another foundation. No. No, it's still the same thing. Look at that. The website doesn't even work. This is going to exit scam everyone, right? Yeah, look at this. October last year, $5-6, and it's like, yo, we're just gonna like, we're now $60. Hands up who took the ENA long. Let's get it on the Discord. Shared this last night. Pitching. That's where crew was alerted. And this is where we're up today. Wow, 20% up since buying that last night. Beast. We've been speaking about this on streams as well, but I did alert crew to the trade yesterday. ATH, another one. That's not moving yet. Pendle, how's Pendle getting along? Plodding along. Pendle. Kind of missed Alphium, which is sad. Any good coins to buy? Yeah, I mean, I go over the good coins to buy every day, but most of them are already up now. We got to find more. We got to find more. I'd say Pendle still looks really good. ATH still looks really good. Those are still ones that we're waiting for the big move to happen. Okay? This is the stuff I like. Alright? ATH looks great. ZK still looks good. We've hit a profit on ZK already, but it looks good for some more. It's chilling. It's looking nice. Yeah. So that was the trade on ZK. We hit TP1. Holding the 4 hour. A load of stuff just holding the 4 hour ABs. TIA, yes. TIA. TIA had a very nice move down yesterday. So still good opportunities here. You're in a very decent buy zone. Remember the pattern of so much stuff. You go down, 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 sideways, 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 kill everyone, recover, and then what happens after that? More likely than not, up, 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 up. It's like a bum doing a big poop. You got the bum cheeks. It does a big poop. Stop everybody out. And you do the other bum cheek. BTC almost back to the box. Yeah, I told you should have taken profit. If you didn't take profit after that low, dope. Where's NQ at? Choppy, 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 chop. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it there. We are done. I'm done for this stream. I'm going to have a little, I'm going to chill for a bit. Trading room later on. So for those of you who are in the crew, trading room in a couple of hours. And we'll just continue to look at good opportunities.